Welcome to the podcast Crash, Burn, Rise Again, where we share stories of burning out and rebuilding better. Join myself, Shireen Lister, your host, and my special guests as we share our personal journeys through burnout, stress, overwhelm, and more, and show how we came out the other side. Learn and leverage from the lessons and wisdom we gained along the way so we can help you to rise too. Welcome to the podcast Crash, Burn, Rise Again, where we share stories of burning out and rebuilding better. Join myself, Shireen Lister, your host, and my special guests as we share our personal journeys through burnout, stress, overwhelm, and more, and show how we came out the other side. Learn and leverage from the lessons and wisdom we gained along the way so we can help you to rise too. Okay, hello everyone and welcome to today's episode of the podcast. I have a special guest with me again today, the delightful Suzanne Butler. Thanks for joining me, Suzanne. How are you today?
I'm fabulous on this pretty miserable day.
It is. It's pouring rain here where we both are in Brisbane. Suzanne, I wanted to start by sharing a little bit about you and your business. So your business is Suzanne Butler Lifestyle Design. And what I love is that it's multifaceted. So you are a coach, you help people manifest, you help people bring things into their life, but also you do Feng Shui, which I love is not just for people's homes, but for then allowing them to be, the way I interpret, the best version of themselves, because when our home's in order, we can be. Am I on the right track with that? Can you share it much better words than I can probably, a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, well, the Feng Shui itself, it balances your home to enable you to bring in what you want. So whether it's money, love, a better career, we can amplify anything in your home to create that, because your home doesn't necessarily support you. So people that, they might have a really happy marriage, all of a sudden they've moved house and all they do is fight. It's not them, it's actually the house. So we amplify the good and we sort of negate the bad energies and create the life that you actually want. But yes, I'll use that as well as basically teaching women, especially, that yes, they can do whatever they want. And I've done that by doing it myself, and I practice what I preach.
Yeah, beautiful. And I know you've just moved home recently, so I'm guessing it was a great place to really put this all in practice and start from scratch with it all and setting things up exactly how you want. So that's really, I love that. Absolutely. About when we move, hey?
Yeah. So I was able to pick a home that I knew was automatically going to be supportive, and then obviously I remedied it to bring in what I want as well. So so far so good.
Fantastic. And I'm so glad that you're here to share some of your wisdom around this and around, I know manifesting and bringing things into me has been something that's been hard for me at times. And so, any hints on that as we go, as well as burnout, I'll take them, as well as maybe my audience. Maybe I can get my office in order. I don't know if it's big enough at 2x2 meters to really do much ordering, but I know there always is space for things like that as well. So I might need to check out some of your tips.
Absolutely.
So I love, like a lot of my guests, you are a woman who's really transformed your life as you've stepped into business to make it work for you and to be the life that you want. As you're saying, you practice what you preach, the same as I do. And I want, though, to start with the not so positive parts of it, to share with our audience, as we do, about our experiences with burnout. And I know that's why you're here. And you were sharing with me that a little bit around where things started for you with stress and burnout and so on were when you were in a relationship that brought a whole nother layer of complexity to your life. Can you share a little bit about what was going on then for you and the situations it was creating that was stressful?
Yeah, so I'm not one that learns a lesson at first time. I typically have to experience something a couple of times before I get the hint. So I've been burnt out probably, I would say 3 times, but once to a point where I was very sick. So this would have been, when was this? 2015, 2016. I was in a relationship that was not great for a start. I was running 3 businesses. I was, so you can imagine running one is hard enough, but running 3, the money was coming in, but not staying. It was just flying back out the door. I was running a virtual assistant business. I was running a painting business for my ex-partner, and we had a martial arts school. So the martial arts school was all night work. The painting business he was doing during the day, but I was managing all the books and booking in appointments. And then I was trying to keep my clients happy. I wasn't sleeping. Blood pressure was at an absolute sky high level, to the point where I was nearly hospitalized because of it. And I could feel I just felt like I was going to pass out all the time. And my partner, he had serious medical problems. So I was running to and from the hospital with him. He refused he wouldn't take his medication on time. He wasn't looking after himself, but very, very demanding. And I was not looking after me. And it got to the point, even to the point where one night I was at the doctor trying to get a prescription for blood pressure medication. That's how bad it was. It was dire. And he's ringing me, telling me that I had to leave the doctor because there was no one at the dojo to let anyone in, and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hang on. And at that point, I was like, hang on, this is my health we're talking about here. I'm quite sick. And went to a naturopath, and she actually said to me, if you keep going like this, you're so close to the point of no return. You need to stop. So I backed off a little bit, and I got a little bit better, but emotionally I still wasn't in a great place. Kept going, and then just made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, because I had no support, and it was just a really bad experience. That relationship ended, and then I decided to meet someone else and got married too quickly. Ended up in a DV relationship. The marriage lasted 15 months, and left in the middle of COVID, and it got divorced in December last year. That finally went through, and that's when my journey of healing really started. So, well, I've been in a journey of healing since June 2020, but it's really in the last probably 6-7 months that I've just gone on this massive trajectory of healing on every possible level.
Yeah. And I've seen that, you're really shining in the last few months and things. And it's great that you've been able to come out the other side of that situation. And gosh, I was getting exhausted listening to you talk about the businesses and managing your partner's health and all of that. And, it felt all too familiar at the same time. I was the same. I think sometimes when we're high achievers and we're really capable, like, I don't know, it sounds like you're like me, you were capable at some levels of doing all that stuff. So we just keep doing until we physically can't. Hey. And I was the same. I remember I sat with the doctor and I looked at some test results, and she said, I've never seen anyone's that high. High was bad. And I said, how am I getting up and going to work every day? Like, I hear other people can't do anything with this condition. And she's like, I don't know how you do. Like, you shouldn't be functional. So I get it. It's just sometimes we just keep going, and it's about learning to listen to those warning signs, I think, isn't it? And starting to be empowered to do something different and to go, like, when you had that moment of you're trying to get medication and instead it's you should be here opening the dojo. It's like, well, no, hang on, where are the priorities? And I don't know, it sounds like you're like me, where we put everything else first sometimes before us, which kind of gets into those states, doesn't it?
Yeah. And it's someone said to me, like, obviously, I've just sold my house and I've made this massive move to a place where I wanted to be, in this beautiful apartment in the city. And someone said to me, do you know how brave you are? And I just looked at them and I said, no, I'm not. She said, yeah, you're really, really brave. I said, but this is all I know. this is all I know how to be. I don't know how to be anything else but this. So it might be brave to some people, but this is who I am, and I know no other way. Like I left home at 18 to join the Defence Force. I had a medical, I was medically discharged. I went overseas traveling by myself. I came back and just started working because I thought that's what I had to do. I've never stopped. I've never used things as an excuse. I've just kept going because I thought I had to. And now I'm like, you know what? I don't. This is my life. This is what I want to do. So I'm living what I want, with no one can tell me what I can and can't do anymore. This is it for me.
And I think when we're in that place, it's easier, I find, to avoid burning out and getting overstressed again, isn't it? Because it's like we know with such clarity what's important, and then it's a lot easier to prioritize, and the rest kind of doesn't matter sometimes, as opposed to, I was just hearing when you were saying about how, you know, you went from one relationship to a marriage too quickly, and that wasn't a great choice as it turned out. And it's like sometimes when we're in such a depleted state emotionally, in such a stressed state as you were, it gets really hard to make clear decisions in that big picture, doesn't it? When now, though, you're in such a place where you've given yourself the time and the space to heal, that moving is a great choice because it's giving you everything that you wanted, and you can do it in a way that's aligned and things like that. So I think that's fabulous. And it's when we're doing things for the right reasons and from the right space, it doesn't have to wear us out. I think it's really beautiful.
And that's why I made a very conscious decision. Sorry, my dog's just decided to come in and have a pat. Okay. I made the very conscious decision when my marriage ended that I wasn't going to make any rash decisions, that I wasn't going to do anything stupid, because every time I've had a breakup in the past, I've done something ridiculous. Like, and I've looked back and go, why'd you do that for? That was actually stupid. Why did you do that? So I made the conscious decision that no, I'm not going to sell my house. No, I'm not going to move. This is going to be my home. I'm going to stay here for a long time. And then it was something that came up for me. I'm like, I can't stay here. It's now time for me to sell my house. And I made that decision very quickly, and I made the decision to move, and I made the move within 6 weeks. Sold, done, move on in 6 weeks. And it was tough emotionally. I had a couple of meltdowns, I won't lie. But you make it happen. Yeah.
And I think because it was the right time, that's probably why it happened so quickly as well. And, you know, we need to, I was speaking in a chat with people today about responding rather than reacting. And so when you do stuff quickly, as this has happened and I need to just change things, that's when we sometimes make those not so wise decisions for us, or we do things that don't serve us best. I want to backtrack a little bit to, you said you spoke to a naturopath who supported you when you were at your worst physically after all that was going on. What else at that time helped you to get out of that space in terms of your burnout and your stress?
I don't think I did come out of it. I managed it. I got my blood pressure down. That was the biggest thing that I succeeded in doing, because that was what was really making me sick. Like, I think at one point it was 180 over 130 or something. Really not good. I just remember feeling incredibly ill. Like, I could feel the blood pumping in my head. Like, that's how sick I was. But yeah, I got some prescription from the naturopath, but it was being told you need to stop. You're at the point of no return. And I started saying no. Beautiful. I learned how to delegate, and I learned how to say no. I started pushing back. Like, my ex would, I'd be working all day and he'd be sitting on the couch, and it would get to 3 o'clock. We'd have to be somewhere at like 4:30, and he'd say, oh, we've got no orange juice, or we've got no milk. Like, I've been working all day. Yeah, I'm at home working, but I'm still working. What have you you been doing? Why can't you go and get it? Why are you expecting me to go and get it? So it was pushing back on things like little things like that were just taking up so much mental space.
Yeah, perfect. I think, boundaries was the biggest thing for me as well in changing, just really starting to go, no, this is what I need. This is too much. And being okay with that, hey, because I don't know, if someone like you say you just get on with it and do it, and I'm such a people pleaser in the same way, like it's just easier to do it. And so it can be hard at first, can't it? But, the more that we lean into that, the easier it becomes. Was that your experience?
Yeah, and for me, when I've had enough, I've had enough. Like it's quite simple. So I guess that for me, that was sort of the catalyst. I mean, it wasn't the end of the relationship for probably another 12 months, 18 months, but it was, I started, what's the word? I wasn't happy. And I realized then I was being completely taken advantage of and not respected. And I needed to change it. I was the only one that's going to be able to change it.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think that is so critical, that when we want to make change in our life, whether we've been the one who's created the situation or not, whether people are doing the wrong things by us, we take responsibility for changing our part in it, hey? And it can be a hard and slow lesson, but it's like, especially because as you mentioned, it was the DV situation stuff where, yes, you are legitimately a victim there, but it's like if you want to make a change, you have to enact that, hey? And that's something that's so transferable across everything in our life. We've got to take that responsibility, I think, to make change.
I'm a massive believer in cause and effect and choosing to be a victor or a victim. And I have never, ever been a victim. Do I deserve how my ex-husband treated me and his behaviors towards me? Absolutely not. But I accept the fact, my part in it, and accepting that treatment for that short time. I accept the fact that I was a doormat for my ex who expected me to do everything while he did nothing. I didn't push back at the beginning. I accept that I took on 3 businesses. That was my choice. And it all fell apart because I took on too much. I accept that I lost clients because I took on too much and I couldn't manage them. So it drives me, it drives me insane when people just don't look at the big picture and accept that they do have that part in it. You look at the current rental crisis or the cost of living and that sort of thing. We all have a choice. We actually all have a choice. We have a choice to stay in a 9 to 5 and earn what someone deems us to be valued as, or we work the 9 to 5, we have a side gig, we invest in crypto, we do DoorDash, we do something else to bring more money in that we can then afford our rent. Or you're not happy in your job, go and find a better one. You're not getting paid what you want, go and find another job. We all have a choice, and people want to play that victim card. Like one of my post up sheet that's going up tomorrow is about choice and about building wealth and living the life you want. And like, I've got my finger in that many pies investment wise, because I don't want to be that statistic at 55 of being a homeless woman. So I'm doing what I need to do now so I become a wealthy woman on my own. I can only look after me. No one else is going to look after me.
Yeah.
So I'm taking full responsibility now for that.
And it's fantastic. It's when we're at cause, when we take responsibility, that's when we're empowered to have the change that we want and the results that we want. It's too comfortable sometimes to stay in victim. But I wonder then, my next question is, so you're doing all the things still, you still have lots of things on the go then. You're independent now, you're doing your thing. how do you not go back to that place of when you were running 3 businesses and looking after someone and under the pump, and not, how do you avoid being in that state and still be such a multifaceted business owner who's doing all the things?
I nap.
Awesome.
Yep. I take naps. Yeah. I don't work 4 to 5 days a week. If I want to take the day off, take the day off. You know, I'm very active. I've got 2 dogs. I walk them. I go to the gym. You know, I add in things to my day that are going to fill my cup. So, and I don't say yes to everything. I'm not a people pleaser anymore. I'm a reformed people pleaser.
Yes.
You know,
me too.
Especially, you know, especially when it comes to clients, there's people I just don't want to work with.
Yeah.
You know, and there's people that I'm going to take responsibility. My big aim is for women to take responsibility for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do have clients, or have had clients that haven't done that, and I've provided my service and they still haven't done what I've told them I need to do. I can't help you if you're not going to help yourself.
Yeah.
So it's quite simple. I want people that are ready to enact change. I'm doing it myself on the daily. So
and that helps you.
I'm not just spruiking some magic sauce that, oh, you know, you have to do the work.
Damn it, there isn't a magic sauce.
No.
I was chasing it. No, we do. I know. And I'm the same. But that's how we conserve our energy as well. Like if you were chasing endlessly people who weren't ready for change and aren't doing the things, but if we spend so much energy towards that, that's how we get back to those stressed places, isn't it? And, you know, that's how we work 24/7 and we don't look after ourselves. So it sounds like balance is really the key for you. And I talk about sometimes work-life balance, and some will go, there's no such thing. I'm like, yeah, it's not equal at always, but as you say, it's about, I think of it as filling all of the cups that are important to us. So we're making sure there's something in all the cups. So you do your exercise, you're with your dogs, you have your naps, you do your business that lights you up. It's keeping it all in balance to some extent. And it's going to ebb and flow, isn't it? There's peaks.
Absolutely.
And troughs, but
like the last month, I've really done nothing because I needed to focus. Like me moving was the absolute closure of a door, massive closure. And that was something I needed to focus on. Like I had to downsize considerably, going from a 3-bedroom house to a 2-bedroom unit or apartment. You know, I couldn't take things with me. So that was a really thing I had to focus on. But that's okay, because now I'm back and I'm very clear and very focused on what I want. So it's setting boundaries, it's working for you, not listening to anybody else, and living your life. Like that's my life by design, living it to what you want for your life. You know, if you want to be an astronaut, be an astronaut. Go and do it. If you want to be a crazy cat lady, go and be a crazy cat lady. No one's stopping you doing what you want except for you.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. I think that's the beautiful summation. And, you know, it's we get burnt out and stressed, I think, when we're trying to be so much sometimes and do so much. And it sounds so simple to just be you and do what you want. But that's the key to it, I think. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Suzanne, for sharing your story and some of those highlights and those tips. And it's been a delight to have you on.
Thank you.
So if people are interested to find out more about what Suzanne does, to follow her, stalk her on socials, any of those things, you can find her at suzannebutler.com.au or at Suzanne Butler Lifestyle Design on all the socials and things. And I will share all your links in all of the show notes and on my posts and so on, so people can find you there as well if they want to reach out, work with you, chat to you, all of those sorts of things. Is there anything else you wanted to share with them before we wrap up?
No, I just, your life is your choice. You know, you say your body, your choice. Well, your life is your choice. And find yourself people that will accept you for who you are and that will champion you. to be what you want to be. You know, if people have to leave your life, they have to leave your life. But you will find your group, your pod, that will champion everything you do, and will see you for the bright, shining light you are.
Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. And I just want to leave it on that note because that's gorgeous. So thank you, Suzanne. And thank you to everyone for listening today. And we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.
Shereen.
Well, that brings to an end today's episode of Crash, Burn, Rise Again. It's been fantastic to have you with us today, and I hope you can join me next time. I also hope you've really enjoyed and maybe even learnt something today. What I ask next is, if you're loving what you're hearing, please subscribe on whatever channel you normally listen to your podcasts, or on my YouTube channel. And you can also follow along and find all previous podcast episodes on my website, recastcoaching.com.au. If you're enjoying the podcast, the other thing I'd love is if you can share and recommend to any friends, family and colleagues who you think would benefit from a little bit of crash, burn, rise again. Thanks so much, and until next time, bye for now.